Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video I just want to talk about the new 90D Canon camera. There's a lot of misinformation going out online and I just thought I'd give you my thoughts on the camera. But before we come to that, let's just talk about Canon's lineup of cameras ranging from the 4000D, which is their APS-C crop sensor camera. Then you've got the 800 and 750D, 7D, and the various incarnations such as Rebel cameras as well. And then you get to the 70D, which is their top line consumer camera, 80D, and now the new 90D. Then you've got the professional pro grade cameras such as the 7D Mark II. We're expecting the 7D Mark III to come out soon, which should surpass the 90D in many respects. That's when the Canon finally decides to release it. Then you've got your full frame cameras after that. Just remember, all these cameras I'm talking about are APS-C crop sensor cameras with a crop of 1.6. Then you've got your full frame cameras, which are much more expensive. You know, you're talking well over £1,600. So you've got your 5D Mark III, 5D Mark IV, and then the new RP mirrorless full frame camera that brought out. Obviously that's very expensive at the moment. I think it's priced around £1,700. Then you've got your 1DX Mark II, which is around £6,000, and that's full frame as well, and that can do about 14 frames a second. The 7D Mark II that I mentioned can do 10 frames per second, and the new 90D, it's just been released, can also match that at 10 frames per second. Just wanted to give you an idea where the 90D fits in. It's basically their top line consumer APS-C camera, but it's not considered to be superior to the 7D Mark II. In terms of how better it is, the 7D Mark II versus the 90D, they're probably very close to each other at the moment. But like I said, when the 7D Mark III comes out, it's going to be superior to the 90D, no doubt. The 90D is brand new, so obviously that's why it sort of seems better than the 7D Mark II at the moment. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the 90D. There's a lot of misinformation going out. People are not telling you the real facts. Someone you may want to watch is called Peter Gregg. I'll leave a link in my video so you can check out one of his videos that compares the 90D. He's really informative, but I just wanted to do my take from a wildlife photographer's point of view. In my personal opinion, it probably matches the 7D Mark II in terms of its functionality for doing wildlife and sports photography. You've got 45 cross autofocus points, which means you can get really quick autofocus, just as good as the 7D Mark II. Obviously for video you've got 4K. Now Canon cripples 4K for one good reason. It doesn't want to jeopardize its Cine video camera line, but they cost many thousands of pounds. You know, I think to get true 4K full frame, I think it's something in the region of £20,000, something like that. Anyway, I'm not that clued up when it comes to Canon's video cameras, so you may want to do a bit of research on that online yourself. However, when it comes to cameras, I'm pretty clued up on cameras, and I'll give you my conclusion at the end of this video. So the 90D can do 10 frames a second, which is fantastic. For anyone who does wildlife, that's great. Matches the 7D Mark II, fantastic. We've got obviously 45 cross type autofocus points, and a 32 megapixel sensor. So in reality you're going to get better quality, and you'll probably get one stop of extra light sensitivity in your sensor. So it will be slightly better than the 7D Mark II, certainly in low light situations. At present, remember the 7D Mark III will come out at some point, so we're waiting for that. In terms of video performance, we're getting obviously 120 frames per second at HD, but no autofocus and no sound. Sony is certainly kicking Canon's ass on that at the moment. You do get full sensor coverage for 4K video, but this is where some people are not telling you the truth. That isn't full 4K video for the full frame of the sensor. I think, in my personal opinion, and I suspect it's something in the region of 3.5K upscaled to 4K. In the world of Sony, you have 6K footage that is downscaled to 4K. So when it comes to quality, apples to apples, so the Sony is going to beat the Canon, hands down. Now, there is obviously a cropped version of 4K on the camera as well, which means it will be better quality, in my opinion. It just means you need to remember to put bigger, wider lenses on if you want to use that full 4K quality in the cropped mode. And you know, it seems a good camera, don't get me wrong, and again, Canon's sort of crippling 4K on the Canon 90D. Again, it's frustrating that they won't go all out and say, right, listen, we'll give you full frame, full 4K with a high bit rate that matches Sony. And you know, I just think Canon needs to say, right, we're not going to cripple these cameras anymore. Forget about our video cameras that we want to protect. We want to, you know, get out there and be the leader and the innovator in camera gear. Don't get me wrong, I like Canon cameras because I love the fact that I can put my EF lenses on and I don't need to think about selling all my lenses and my cameras and considering to switch to Sony. But it is tempting, don't get me wrong, it is very tempting to think about going to Sony and getting the full 4K video that you can't get with Canon. But when it comes to photography, and if you are a photographer like me that does sports, wildlife, anything like that, you won't want to sell your big glass for your camera, because the majority of your work will be photographs and photography, not video. But it would certainly, I just think if Canon got their ass together and produced a camera that had true 4K with dual pixel autofocus that was fantastic, even eye focus, because that's coming out, that's actually in the 90D at the moment, where it will focus on the eye just like the Sony cameras do, but it's not very reliable at the moment because obviously it's something that Canon's just getting into. Sony's been doing it for a long time. So to round up my recommendation regarding the 90D, I think it's a good all-round camera, and it certainly is fantastic for doing wildlife or sports photography. Hands down, definitely, no problem with that. It seems to me the 90D is trying to be a mirrorless camera when it's not using the optical viewfinder. So you can put it into the actual video mode and rely on live view, and you can get 11 frames per second, a slight increase, but in real world use you probably won't notice a difference. But most photographers want to use an optical viewfinder so they can adjust focus, because the thing is, EVFs are pretty much fantastic, you know, for what they do. But there's one thing that people don't take into account, and they don't think about this, and it does frustrate me a lot when people disregard batteries and battery performance. And I had a 1D Mark III, and you know, I just had one charge on that camera, and that charge lasted me all day, albeit a beast of a battery in that camera. But people do tend to forget about, you know, battery performance. So with the 90D, with its battery and it's using the optical viewfinder, you're basically going to get 1300 shots from that versus a lot less on the Sony systems. And even the small mirrorless Canon cameras like the M50, where you only get about, I think it's 250 shots. Basically the LP6 battery is a great battery for performance in terms of taking pictures, and it lasts for a very long time. With the smaller cameras like the Sony, you're going to need multiple batteries. You can get away with one battery with a Canon camera, but I just thought I'd give you a bit of a roundup what I'm thinking about the 90D. Well, I think it's a step upgrade from the 80D. Personally, I think if you're just doing HD video and you've got the 80D, it's probably not worth upgrading to. Maybe when the 7D Mark III comes out, we'll see what that has. The problem with 4K on the 5D Mark IV and the 1DX, the file sizes are absolutely massive, and a lot of computers have a hard time running and using those files in K4, 4K, sorry. So I think for the general all-rounder, it does everything you want it to do. But if video is something you're really interested in, another camera that I would probably point you towards might be the new Sony 6600. So I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. You know, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think the 90D is the camera for now, or is it worthwhile waiting for the 7D Mark III? I have a funny feeling it could be 1 or 2 years away, the 7D Mark III. But if you have the money, step up to the 1DX, because those cameras are absolutely amazing. Their battery lasts for an entire week without needing to be charged up. And if you had 2 of those batteries, you could literally, you know, go out on a shoot in the middle of nowhere for 2 weeks and not need to have any extra batteries. But you won't be able to do that with the likes of the consumer Canon cameras or the Sony cameras in particular. The Sony cameras do seem to run out of battery power very, very quickly. But personally, I keep about 8 LP6 batteries around, so if I ever need one, I've got one available. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about the 90D. Do you think it really lives up to what we was hoping for, or does it disappoint? Personally, my last school of thought that I'll leave you with is the full frame 4K that's actually on the actual sensor when you're recording is upscaled, in my opinion, from 3.5K, possibly 3K. That's my final thoughts. But let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.